Hello, I would like to welcome you to Madison's Match Week as we hear from some of the legends of the game and raise money to support the new pediatric neurosurgery program at the Gala Children's Hospital of Southwest Florida. My name is Duane Chaney, founder of Madison's Match, and today I am very excited to be joined by former 1993 French Open doubles champion, coach of the 2020 World Team Tennis Champions New York Empire, current ESPN tennis analyst, and great friend of Madison's Match, Luke Jensen.
Hey, Duane!
Luke, Woo! It is so good to see you. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes with me today.
Hey, bald is beautiful, buddy. Bald is beautiful. We got to keep the shine going.
I'm with you. I couldn't have like the Jensen's hair back in the 90s, so I'm going with it right now. So
I love it. Well, thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure to have you. First, just want to express my gratitude to you for all that you've done to help make Madison's Match special for Madison and our participants over the years. You know, you and Murphy just bring so much energy to our clinics and our pro-am sessions that our participants just rave about it for months on end. So just really thank you for everything that you've done for us.
It is the one event that we make sure that is in Penn that we book every single year. To watch Madison grow into the young adult she is now, it is really a blessing to all of us, and how much she's really touched us and impacted us. We make sure we're there every single time to raise as much money as we can for this great cause.
You know, I shared this with Murphy the other day. Madison is actually going to be going to college here shortly, which is just crazy to think about, crazy to realize.
It is amazing. And what tennis can do in a positive. You know, so many times we're out there and you see the Grand Slams and you see the stars and everything. And it's amazing what can happen. And when we point it in a different direction to have such a positive impact in a community and on a cause, and a young person like that who really puts a smile on everybody's faces. And, you know, it just is the highlight every year.
You know, really appreciate it. And you've already kind of touched on this. So you've seen Madison grow, you've seen the event grow and evolve over the years. What has it meant to you to be a part of Madison's life, play a little special role for her, and also be a part of the event over all these years?
Well, just to see her smile, she just has a world-class smile, and she never has a bad moment. I mean, the events are challenging to set up, to run, people flying in from all over the place. Of course, you're crossing your fingers for great weather. And it has evolved. It has grown. More stars and legends have pitched in and do their part, and they've been impacted. So to me, to see that she's going on to college and she's going to continue this mission to raise funds and raise awareness, really, to me, that's the win. That's the major victory in all of it.
So I'm going to speak to you. You may remember this story. This is from probably 6 or 7 years ago. Again, speaks to kind of your character and dedication. We had one of the days of kind of the weather wasn't great, and there's lightning and thunder, and you and Murphy are still playing the exhibition regardless, no matter what. And lightning struck like 30 feet away. You're hitting to the last point, and then you finally run off. It's like, yeah, we probably should cut this short. But that's, again, just speaks to you guys are all in no matter what.
Well, I'm really lucky. So this is honestly what I was thinking. I'm 6'2", Murphy's 6'4". If we both reach up for an overhead, he's going to have a little extra, that racket out there. So if the lightning is going to strike a Jensen brother, he's closer to the tennis gods. So I think I'd survive that one. It was just a calculated risk.
I think that's a good calculated risk. You're playing that smart. I don't blame you there.
And the way the Print Force is always drop shotting and hitting trick shots, I mean, someone's going to roll an ankle at some point.
At some point, we're pretty fortunate that everybody stayed pretty healthy through all these years. So
Absolutely.
So I'm going to touch on actually to your backstory, because I've always found when I see and learn about pro athletes and how they make it to the top, I always find the backstory very interesting. So your backstory of how you guys started on a Christmas tree farm in Michigan and then became rock and roll tennis, international superstars is pretty incredible. Can you share some of your backstory with people who may not be as familiar that, for instance, your father played for the Giants? I had no idea. So can you share some of that?
Yeah, we're very fortunate to come up in the late 70s, early 80s. And, tennis in the United States was just absolutely kicking butt. And then, you had McEnroe and Connors, Chris Evert, Tracy Austin, and they're always winning Grand Slams and things. And yeah, these international stars like Bjorn Borg and Martina Navratilova was really making her move and things. And it was a sport that was becoming more public parks than country club. It was a sport that was really becoming cool. I remember my first live Wimbledon watching in 1979. It was Borg versus Tanner, and that goes 5 sets. And the characters that played and the characters that called the matches, like Bud Collins and things, that made the game so cool, not just to watch, but you wanted to go out and play, and you wanted to play with that kind of passion and personality. And so, compared to the other sports, I was playing so many other sports at that time. Tennis was the one that I could see that was going to take me places. And around the world, football and basketball and baseball, they're regional. It got, more nationals, you got better, but it was tennis that was going to take me around the world. And to do it with my brother, to have 2 sisters that also played the Grand Slams, it was the sport that drew us together. It was our glue sport. We'd go to tournaments, and mom and dad would play, and my sisters would play, and my brother and I would play. So it was more of a family thing than an individual thing. And then honestly, I was very fortunate. We just had the right coaches at the right time to teach us the fundamentals, but actually teach the work ethic and the determination that goes into it. And then meeting people from around the world. It was cool. And to be honest, the Gullickson twins were a huge influence on us. A couple of Midwest cats who kind of grew up, were not great juniors, not really great college players, but loved the game, kept pursuing greatness, and they end up, doing amazing things and continuing. And one of the things that's always impacted me with Madison's match was a dear friend of mine, an impact person, was Tim Gullickson. And Tom is always there. Tom, was always beating up on me in practice, and Tim would beat up on me, but also was always there to guide me, was a mentor. And for the Jensen brothers to really kind of look at the Gullickson twins and say, you know what, they can do it from the Midwest. They weren't early starters, but they were late finishers, lefty, righty, and great personalities.
Yeah, Tom's been a great friend, and obviously with the common cause of his brother passing from brain tumor, he's just really been with us since day one, and just a true advocate for tennis and for helping brain tumor patients and their families. So it just, we can't say enough great things about Gully there.
Yeah, Gully's a high character person. Again, never has a bad day. We'll always get on the court if you need him. We'll always pick up your call and answer to whatever cause. 2 of those guys were such huge positive influences, always had time for us, and still to this day gives us advice of wisdom.
So now you've passed the torch to the Bryan brothers, and now they're done. Like, who's next? Like, who's the next brother duo to carry the torch for doubles?
It's very interesting because the Bryan brothers just recently retired, and it's just an extraordinary thing to me to think that we had some type of influence on them, and whether it's the chest bumps or signing autographs, giving back to the game, being genuine, being authentic. It's just every time I see them, they're always looking to have an impact and use their fame. I cannot wait 5 years until they get into the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to have a front row seat because they really did it right, and their parents did it right, and they continue to give high fives and influence and impact the next generation. Who is that going to be? There's a couple of kids out there that have been watching the Bryan brothers, and I'm sure, or the Williams sisters, that this sport is more about family. To get to where you need to go, you need a team. And it starts with your life coaches, your mom and dad, who are going to always be there no matter what win, what loss, for the rest of your life. And I really think that's what we've become here at Madison's Match. I really believe from the Gullies and the Pernforces and the Creeks, we've all become family for this cause.
Yeah, and it's, you've seen, you've now done the event 6 or 7 years, and you've seen the same people come back. You see the same faces. It's kind of like a family reunion after every year where, we're all together, we're on the court using tennis for a great cause, and tennis is one of the only few things you can really do that with. So that's like one of the, when this event first started, I had no idea where we'd be. what the true impact would be all these years later. So, it's a cool thing to see from where I sit, and then, to know that has an impact on someone like yourself is pretty cool.
No, and to see not just the pros that come back, but the people that come and participate in the clinics and come and watch the exhibition and things. I mean, first couple of years, you're teaching them technique and forehands and backhands and things, and giving them some helpful hints. And then you realize the next year and the year after, they haven't improved at all. So then it turns into like you're talking trash to your family. Like, listen, can you ever just like keep your racket up on a forehand volley? I mean, the serve, do we need to change the rules so you get 3 serves so you don't double fault 3 times a game? So it's just a blast to see the people returning to take the clinics, to be part of this, just honestly, because you do know the names, you remember the faces, and unfortunately you remember all the bad habits on the court.
So I'm gonna have you share one more story, and I'm reaching way back in the archives on this one. And I know you're known for your doubles, but I was searching your career history, and I see a victory in 1996 in Memphis over a certain number 3 in the world, Andre Agassi. So can you share like what was going through your mind going into that match, and then after you beat Andre Agassi?
We're very fortunate. Murphy played with Andre in the juniors and doubles and grew up with him. And then when Andre turned pro, I honestly got to play him a bunch of times in the satellites and the challengers and things, and watch him just take off. And then being part of the U.S. Davis Cup team in 91 and 92. And my job was really to be his practice partner and to be around that, all that energy and everything that was the Agassi train. It was just It's like hanging out with Elvis. I mean, private planes, unbelievable, photo shoots and commercial shoots and things, and still playing professional tennis. And when I got a chance to play him in 96 in Memphis, it wasn't too far out of the realm because I'd practiced so much with him. I knew his game and everything. And I had some success with Murphy, and we had like the Jensen show kind of going, and we packed it out. Andre had it, every match he played, people showed up. It was a packed house, and it was just my day. And it was one of those things where if I could serve as big as I could, serving left-handed, right-handed. And honestly, those years when he had that private plane, his mind wasn't always on the tennis. So I got in, I always say I got in right at the right time, because once Gilbert worked his magic and Brad Gilbert was coaching him and really tuned in the best of what Agassi could be. I just, sometimes the stars have to align and you're just hitting aces and hitting winners, and life works out. So thanks for taking us way back into the machine when I had hair.
I'm with you, buddy. So as we get wrapped up here, so where can our people, our viewers, find Luke Jensen over the next couple months?
I'm just kind of getting ready for the French Open. We also have the NC2A championships coming up that I'll be covering for TV. I do a lot of these road shows now. So I'm back in Atlanta, back in New York, bouncing around to the West. I always try to fit tennis events around bucket list items. So I've never been to Yellowstone Park and Old Faithful. So I've got a bunch of stuff in Wyoming and Colorado before the French Open starts. So I'll be bouncing around doing tons of clinics at clubs, even high schools, raising money for high school programs. So life has been blessed. Tennis has given me things beyond my wildest dreams.
Again, Luke, you're always amazing. You're always a true friend. So I just want to really thank you for spending a few minutes with us today. To our viewers, remember, visit our website at madisonsmatch.com, make a donation, place a bid on some of our incredible auction items. Bidding is open until this Friday, May 14th. We need your support to help fund the pediatric neurosurgery program at the Gala Children's Hospital, Southwest Florida. Luke, why don't you encourage our people to make some big bids out there? We need the bids.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously the world stopped with COVID, and unfortunately a lot of people stopped getting their checkups. So I think we're playing catch up, especially in this space. So it's so important that you give today, give now, and know that this money is going to the right places, the right cause, and you have a massive impact in the positive to really change the direction of what we're doing in this field.
Luke, thank you again so much. And we really look forward to seeing you back in person next year at Madisen's match.
All right, Duane, keep going for it.